Boys, tap in. Brand new line just dropped. Phantom Gate line. Stills last for a very long time. The link is in the description. I would love to see you guys in there. All right, boys, welcome back to the Pokemon Unite video. We're going to do an items tier list now because a lot of the items in the game are good. Some people may want to know which ones are the best ones. And I figured, hey, game's been out for a week now. I really wanted to process some time on some of the more niche items. So we're just going to sit down and talk about that, guys. If you're enjoying the Unite content, make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on which item you think is good or nah. You know what I mean? Underrated items. What do you think? Who's your main? Let me know. I also did a tier list on the best Mons. But now looking at that video, now the game's a week out and Gardevoir's out. That tiers has already changed. So I don't want to do it too often, but you guys will see. So we're just gonna kind of jump in with it, guys. We'll do the battle items at the end, so I put them in their own spot. And again, I didn't make all these rolls; they were all pre-made. So shout out to whoever made them. All right, guys. First item, Aeos cookie. I think this item is a little suboptimal IMO. Maybe I'm sleeping on it. I could be entirely wrong. I don't really see it used much. I've only maybe used it a few times myself. I feel like its main use is probably there for like more of the defender mons like Snorlax and mainly Crustle, who has the #1 highest HP stat in the entire game, by the way. But I feel like that's the only point for it. Is it's upon every time you dunk, guys, you gain more HP, which is not terrible. But it's also just like you want a little more. So maybe it's niche. I could bump it up to maybe niche and situational, but for now it just seems a little suboptimal. You know what I mean? In comparison to the rest, you could just bulk yourself up even more or just boost your attack. But instead, you just make yourself more bulky, which is not bad. I could see it being decent for Crustle because he has Shelf Smash, and Crustle's already so tanky. So it's not bad for sure. But and preface this, by the way, I don't think any of the items within this game are bad, but it's just kind of saltable for sure. AV, I definitely think is good. I think AV is a phenomenal item. You gain special attack shield, so you're bulky your special attacks when you're not in combat. So it's like Float Stone for special attack. You're very bulky. It's not bad. So it definitely makes you tanky. You know what I mean? It's really good for characters like Garchomp, Charizard. You know, those offensive characters that can also be bulky as well too. It's really good on those type of characters. So hey man, you know, it's a very fun item. It's very dope. I definitely think it's good. I do think it's a good item for sure. The next one, attack weight, I think is correct. I think attack weight is correct. Every time you dunk, you get an attack buff. It's like Aeos cookie. So I think it is a very good item for a lot of mons. Charizard, Garchomp, Greninja, a lot of physical offensive mons. It's just phenomenal on, dude. So it's great. Even Lucario, I ran on Lucario as well too. Like I ran a build of Lucario attack sheet. I ran attack weight, score shield, and what is it, Focus Band. So it was interesting, right? I literally would dunk even 1 point. I would dunk to get that bonus because you can literally just dunk 1 point and still get that bonus. So it's a very good item to say the least. You know what I mean? I feel like people sometimes television they focus too much on dunking like 40 or 50 points when you could just sit down and be all like, hey, you know, man, I'm gonna dunk a little bit and be chilling. So it's still a phenomenal item. I definitely recommend it for a lot of Pokemon. It's so good, dude. I just have a lot of fun using it, and it works really well with Score Shield, which you can do Score Shield right now. I do think Score Shield is one of the best out of the entire game. You just are completely invulnerable to such little attacks that helps you just get the dunk off right away. So if you like dunking, this is the item for you, man. You want to get those points, you can't get the kills in the game, and you just want to help your team with the dunks, because MVP, most times MVP is coming with the dunks, not really with the kills. It's Score Shield's gonna really make or break that, guys. Like, it just helps you get those dunks off. You're just immune to so many things, to hit stun, all this cancerous stuff in the game when you're dunking, and it's phenomenal, man. It's a phenomenal item. It feels cheating sometimes because you can sit there in front of like a one guy, he'll be jabbing you, and you're just getting the dunk off. So it's really, really good. I think it's a very strong item, and I think it's only going to get better over time because dunking is never going to not be important, right? So I think Buddy Barrier is a really good item as well, too. I think it is. It's very, like, situational on certain mons. Obviously, like, a bunch of support mons, whether it is, like Mr. Mon. Honestly, all 3 support mons have been starting really tough, and especially Eldegoss. It is one of Eldegoss' best inside items. So definitely recommend running on Eldegoss for all these supports for sure. But it essentially grants you a shield every time you're using your Unite move. And what's even better about this move on mons like Eldegoss and even Wigglytuff especially is Wigglytuff's ultimate removes it cleanses. So it cleanses and also gives you armor. It's like a Brig Rally. Wigglytuff is literally Brig Rally. So you stack that on for double the armor, buddy. Your Wigglytuff is not dying. Your entire squad is not dying. It is a phenomenal item for sure. I think as I play, I don't play any supports in the game, so I feel like as I play more supports, I'll definitely bump it up. For now, I do think it's a good option for sure, just because it's not like god tier viable for every single mon in the entire game. But I feel like as we get more supports, it'll become an even better viable item to put into best choices. We only have 3 supports, the lowest slotted like section in the entire game, only 3. And I don't know about you guys, I don't like any of them. I'm not a big fan of any of the support mons. So it's like, I don't know, maybe Sylveon Waiting Room? We'll have to see. We'll have to see, right? Blissey Waiting Room? We'll have to see. Energy Amp. This move I don't think is a good item as well. I used to run a lot of my Gengar guys Energy Amp. It's a very strong move. It's giving you buff damage after you Unite move, so it's phenomenal, man. It's great. I mean, I would just get ult so fast with Gengar with Hex Sludge Bomb that I would use this a lot. Like, a lot of people run like Shell Bell to Gengar, and before me knowing of the Shell Bell meta, I was always running Energy Amp for it, which I do think is a very underrated item as well too. Not many people run it, and I do think it's extremely underrated, depending on the mon and depending on the Unite move, obviously, of course, right? So you usually want to run on an offensive mon like Gengar, like I just said. You can even run on like Cramorant, because Cramorant's ultimate is actually jacked for whatever reason. So it's really not that bad, to say the least. I do think there's a lot of items that are better than it, so good options, definitely, to say the least, for what it is. But it just makes your Unite move stronger, so it's very good. Yeah, not to mention as well too, guys, is it reduces the moves, reduces your cooldowns, and also makes you move stronger. So it's just, if Hex already was not jacked, it's reducing it even more. So that's just, also, it makes it so we can collect more Aeos energy. So all in all, it's a phenomenal item. I do think it's a phenomenal item. Me personally, I'm gonna even bump it up just based off that. I do think it's a phenomenal item, to the least. Just me personally, because I've maxed it out to almost level 25. And I've just, because max level 30, but I almost got it to 25, and I used so many for so long that it is such a strong item, to say the least. Experience share, I do think it's extremely suboptimal. Not that great at all, guys. Not that great, honestly. I'd even put it lower than this. Like, it's just not the best, to say the least, at all, guys. Just not. Like, I don't ever see a reason why you would ever really need the XP share. I mean, I think the few mons that used to run it early in beta were like Slowbro and Eldegoss, but even then, there's better inside items now, especially now that we're playing the game, guys, and it's more of a week out now in the game. Like, I mean, it gives you faster movement speed, it buffs your HP, and it makes it to where, obviously, it's experience share, you gain more EXP, right? Every second when you're the lowest leveled mon. So it's like a little bit of like a, not this, handicap isn't the word, but you guys get what I mean. Like, it's a little bit of a boost, but like, even then, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. If there was 4 item slots, sure. But for 3, it's just not worth it at all. Like, you will rarely ever need to really use this item. There's just better. So, a shame. You know what I mean? When EXP share is one of the best items you could actually use in a random Nuzlocke playthrough, it's just not really one of the best ones in this game. Floatstone, I do think is god tier. Floatstone is crap, guys. You're moving faster, basically. It buffs your attack, and you're moving faster when you're not in combat. So it's a phenomenal item. It really is, dude. It's so good for mons like Lucario, Pikachu, Cinderace, Greninja, Absol. So many movement-based mons that just have movement or just deal damage. It's so good to just escape. When you're not in Brawl, it's so good to escape. It really just helps out. Stack that on with an eject button. It really just helps out. It truly, really just does. And it's just such a good item. I can spend all day on why this item is so good, but I don't really need to spend that much time on it, guys. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know what I mean? So it just buffs your attack. It makes you move faster when you're not in combat, which is phenomenal, actually. It's so good. I mean, it buffs your attack. Stack it on with a muscle band or anything else that buffs your attack. You're chilling, man. You're really chilling. Focus Band, I do actually think is underrated. I do think it's extremely underrated. You literally sometimes, it's very similar to what Focus Band does in an actual game. You literally live on a very small sliver, guys. It reduces damage that you also take as well too from special attacks, which is pretty good against maybe something like a Gengar, which is just makes you want to die, right? Also as well too, boosts your defense as well too, which is just overall great, and you live HP on a little bit, and it boosts your HP up as you're going. So mons like Lucario, which I do think it is the best in-slot for Lucario, because Lucario's steadfast passive, he does more damage when he's at a lower HP stat, so it's even stronger for a mon like Lucario, who you want to actually have sometimes at a low HP stat, for the passive steadfast to activate, for you to literally just two-shot people. I'm not even kidding, Lucario can literally two-shot people. I got a 40 bomb game with Lucario with Focus Band. It's jacked. Leftovers, I do think it's niche. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's niche, to say the least. Mons like Snorlax, Eldegoss, definitely not terrible on. You know what I mean? It's definitely very niche. Even Slowbro, extremely niche. It's not that bad on tanks. It's not that bad on supports. I don't really recommend running it on an attack or a speedster at all. Because, I mean, you can just run Shell Bell. You can run so many other opportunities, so many in-slot other different moves, you know? You can Focus Band, but Leftovers is not bad. It's definitely not bad. It kind of just gets the job done. It's HP recovers over time, you know what I mean? It buffs your HP stat, HP recovery. That's really it. It restores HP every second. It literally does what Leftovers does in the actual game. So it's pretty self-explanatory, right? But it's not terrible. Muscle Band, I do think, is also just a really good item as well, too. I mean, Muscle Band just buffs your attack, man. It makes your autos faster. Like, it's just It's just a great move. It's just a great item. It just is. It's just a great item, man. So you can't complain on Muscle Band. It's a standard. It's like the physical for Wise Glasses. It's very, very standard. So you can even Wise Glasses. Wise Glasses I'd also put up here as well too. It's just a strong item. It does the exact same thing, but for special attackers. So it's really not that bad at all. Also, as well too, it does not actually buff your autos. That's the one thing that it does. It's a little bit of a shame. It did buff your autos. It would be pretty good. Actually gonna bring it down, guys, just for a little bit because it just doesn't buff your autos. I feel like Muscle Band is just better. While Muscle Band is actually for physical attackers, some people have actually used it on mons even like Gardevoir just to buff the speed of your autos. So if you have ranged moves, ranged mons for autos, it's actually not terrible. I've seen people literally do that. So it's interesting. There's a lot of like strategy in this game, right? Wise Glasses I don't think is that bad as well either, guys. It just kind of buffs your special attack overall. It doesn't really do anything else. It just buffs the percentage of special attack and just your overall special attack. So you just want raw damage of special attack. This is it. I do think it fits in good options though, because if it had at least one more thing that it did, like if it also buffed your autos, I would say the thing is also the best choices as well too. But since Muscle Band does that, and since all the other ones just seem better IMO, that's just kind of be where it's at, you know what I mean? But overall, it's a really good one. I run on my Slowbro, I run it on my Gengar, I run it on my Gardevoir, like I run it on a lot of characters. Yes, I run Wise Glasses Slowbro, it's actually jacked. Some people even run like a offensive Mr. Mime because he just does so much damage. The guy's not a support character sometimes. He's not, guys. But Wise Glasses, very strong. I also think Rocky Helmet is very niche. It buffs your overall like defenses as well as it does damage every time you take damage to the enemy opponents, which is not terrible. Right? It's actually not terrible. It just, again, it feels very niche, like very situational on for why you may need this item. Very situational, right? Buffs the HP, buffs the defenses. They take damage every single time they do damage to you, nearby opponents. So opponents, by the way, so it is AoE. It's also something like it does damage, I think 3% of their max HP, which is like, okay, it's not bad, but like very niche, very, very, very niche to say the least. I know people run this thing like a Ruskin Garchomp, people run this thing like a bulky Slowbro, or like a bulky Crustle. Like it has its niches, right? It has niches for sure, but I don't think it's one of those items where it's like, oh my god, I need this now. You know what I mean? Like you don't just like go out of your way to go and get the thing like immediately. So you're good off that. Scope Lens, I do think it's a very good item. Again, it's not a best in slot for almost everybody in the game, but it's really good on characters like Absol, Greninja, Cinderace. It is very strong on those guys. It just boosts crit, not bad. I do kind of wish, a part of me does kind of wish that the crit was a little bit more. Maybe that's me being a little chaotic and wanting more raw buffed out damage. I do wish it was a little bit more though. It's only 4% at level 20, so it's not bad. 4% level 20, I mean, crit is crit. You can never deal about crit. That's only for crit rate. It also does crit damage as well too. So not bad to say the least, but I do wish maybe it was at like an 8% cap. Okay. See, I'm asking for a lot. 8% level 20 is kind of crazy. Also, they cap at a level 20, at least the top one, the top substat, it caps at level 20. So that's why at level 30, IMO sometimes just not worth it because the max level 30. But overall, it's not a bad item to say the least. I mean, Super Luck, Scope Lens, Absol, you are actually shitting bricks for damage. If you face an Absol that does an enormous amount of damage, yes, it is actually a must in-slot item, must-pick in-slot item for an Absol. It absolutely is. Cinderace or Greninja, it's up to you. A lot of people also run it a lot on Cinderace as well too, so it's not bad because Cinderace does get a guaranteed crit boost after Blaze Kick. So, and then just Greninja because he's doing so much damage, he's healing so much of the regens for his moves like Surf that you like to get the crit boost to be able to kill a little faster to get the reset off Surf. So, all in all, it's a great item. It's really good, and it's really fun to use as well, too. It's actually such a fun item. I do recommend using it. It's a lot of fun. Shell Bell is the GOAT. Literally the GOAT. Also, I'm sorry if I didn't order these guys. The only thing that matters is just the row that they're in. Shell Bell is the GOAT. This item is jacked. It is the GOAT. You're literally getting heals off your special attack stat. Bro, special attack moves are healing you. So if you have a Mon that is doing a lot of special attack, like Gengar, especially, it's one of Gengar's must in-slot items. I used to run energy in before I knew the power of Shell Bell. Shell Bell is just so good. It's so good, man. Like, it buffs your special attack every time you're literally dealing damage, man. You get healed off that. It also reduces your cooldown as well, too, which is phenomenal, man. It's absolutely great. Yeah, as well as, too, it's like, you know, every time the higher the Pokemon special attack stat is, the more you're going to be healing. It's like 45 hit points per special attack stat. Obviously, the higher your special attack stat, the more. So, a lot of people like to run it as well, too, with special attack specs. Or Wise Glasses, you pair the three together, your special attack stat is just so god tier high that at that point it's like, all right, you're gonna be healing a lot. Which, speaking of special attack specs, I do think it's really good. It's funny they call it special attack specs. It's choice specs in the actual game, but this is an entirely brand new item. So maybe they're gonna make a physical attack specs. Who knows? Who knows? Because special attacks are really just feeding. They have Shell Bell, special attack specs, Wise Glasses. Physical attack has like what? muscle band, float stone, and attack weight. But it's like we got another one as well too, bruh. So that's a moment in time. But special attacks is also really good. You're getting special attack buffs every single time you're dunking, which I think is phenomenal. And it just goes so well with Shell Bell, which in me personally, I do think is a top 3 item. It is so strong. Like it is, you're getting recovery, you're lasting longer in the fight as well too. Special attack specs just helps you out with that because you can dunk 5 points, get the buff off that. Boom, you get the buff off that. I don't know, I think it was 17 hit points that you get off rip right away. It's 8. Sorry, increase special attack stat by 8. And at max, it does a 16 for level 20, and 16 as well too upon goal for level 20. So that's actually not bad at all. And it is a permanent increase, by the way, for the second substat. It's a permanent increase on special attack stat. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. The first substat does damage deal by special moves, and it's the estimated max value. So it's just, the specs is insane. The specs is actually wild. Shell Bell, I do think is a top 3 item, not number 3. It's actually insane. Everybody should have a Shell Bell at max if you're running special attack mons. And yes, not everything in this game is special or physical. Like Charizard is all physical. Yes, Fire Blast is physical. Pyro Ball, physical. Yes. Water Shuriken, physical. Yes. But that one's confusing me because it used to be physical. So that one's confusing, right? A bunch of moves are physical, right? So it's really interesting, to say the least. So a lot of moves. You got to look into it, guys. A lot of moves. So all in all, guys, that's kind of really just what I think. Now, if I were to do the best battle items, we can do this really fast. Eject button's jacked. I think full heal is niche. I think a lot of these are just extremely niche. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do think, hey, guess what? Fluffy Tail is actually good. I do think Fluffy Tail is good. Obviously, I think these two are really good as well too. And then I also think Potion is also really niche because it's only really good on like 1, maybe 2 items. Like Eldegoss, it's phenomenal on your healer. And then you don't really need Potion on anybody else in the game at all, IMO, because you want to buff out that damage, especially when there are things in the game that already heal you, like Shell Bell. So you don't need Potion, right? You want a eject button. But all in all, guys, I do actually think this is my overall items list. Fluffy Tail is extremely underrated. This item is insane, dude. You can literally 3-shot things with Gengar in the game with Fluffy Tail, like Dreadnought or Rotom or stuff like that, or even Zapdos especially. So if you ever see someone run Fluffy Tail, it's extremely good on your jungler, and you're dealing an enormous amount of damage. So all in all, guys, that's my list, though. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below. I actually think I'm pretty set on this. I think obviously I would move some things up, some things down. Like maybe I would move down energy and maybe move up like Buddy Barrier over time, right? But for now, it is kind of where I stand. Week 1 in the game is kind of where I stand. I do think full heal is very good to counter Gengar in Alola Tails, especially Gengar for the X. You can just cleanse yourself. But Blissey comes out soon and she cleanses, so wait on that. Guys, what do you think? Leave a like down below. Subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.